Hey everybody, Bridgerland Dolgoff. So I'm just letting you guys out there that I'm not going to be posting any links on the 7 days of rest video, and I'm actually formally withdrawing 7 days of rest, and I kind of learned yet a valuable lesson in networking and with conscious groups. And and this keeps coming and coming and coming. And all of you out there know that I'm kind of a whirlwind and a dynamo, and I think because I am a star kid and I came to Earth to help people and help try to create some transition and get energies moving forward. And in my past videos, my star family, showed me kind of what that energy looks like. For example, if there's a wagon and then there's, 6 horses on 2 and 2 and 2 connected to the wagon, then I'm the front horse. And no matter how much that wagon is weighted, I just pull it inch by inch by inch. And I always think it's interesting that people that are sort of conscious, they use things in conscious ways to get around or get away from actually doing work. And that somehow the spiritual, thing frees them up from having like personal responsibility, like things in this reality, timing, maybe the timing isn't right. When is the timing ever going to be right? When you have a whole system that is, operating against anything living, right? When is the time ever going to be right for you to do your personal work or you to step up and take personal responsibility? And so I just see a lot of spiritual people, they use this, they use some of these ideas and some of these languaging, and it keeps people from actually taking personal responsibility. So the big lesson again is don't give your power away. And I really wanted to do this 7 days of rest event. I wanted to really participate. But then again, because it's a collective thing, that I would be giving my personal energy to something collective. And I just kind of got that lesson again today, because I can't seem to get the help that's required in order to, get these banners done appropriately for 7 days of rest. And not really getting help, even though I would be part of the people who would be powering it energetically, because I would be offering something for free to it and to people. So again, I would be in this situation of one of the people that's generating the power for an event collectively, giving my time and energy, creating social media to go along with it, putting the product and producing something, because the event doesn't work unless some people produce things for the event, because why would people show up to it if there was nothing that other people were producing, right? That they were putting into it. So if we look at it economically, then some people have to generate power to produce something to put into it for free so that the collective can get something out of it to show up to it and for it. And in this case, in this reality, people like to exchange money for energy, kind of a thing, or money for a product, or money for something to be produced. And so again, the lesson is that the energy that I'm putting forward collectively is not being supported, and just like the baseline foundation of what that support may be. And so instead of going into like the whole thing that it said, they did, I don't really want to go into any of all of that, but I've just really decided that I'm just going to withdraw the my product from the event, because I'm not going to participate in it. I'm not going to attend it at all. And I'm also not going to actually support it by, giving a ton of energy and power to it, to help it and to help other people and educate people. And so today I really decided, that I think that I'm just going to finally stop collectively trying to help and to educate people. I think that not only am I going to withdraw, I'll still be doing YouTube videos and things like that, and, seeing people by appointment. But I think for the most part that, and maybe it'll be this year, I don't know. So it's kind of interesting, always at the heels of the new year, regardless if it's a real or fiction new year, because we don't really know what the time is, because they're always changing, the calendars and the time on us. So we don't really know. But I think at least for this year that I'm going to withdraw my need to assist humans in certain processes, and I'm going to refrain from collectively participating with other groups or organizations or other individuals in a collective matter for sure this year. And so I think my 2020 lesson is to stop being involved with pulling the load or helping others to pull the load, and not getting like the bare minimum of what, I need out of it. And just period, withdraw. And so, and it really hurts me emotionally, because that's what I feel like, my whole mission here, on this planet has been about, is to help and assist, inform and educate and fix and resolve at all costs, to actually help the collective. And And, the more organizations and groups that I seem to be involved with, there's just always issues and problems. I mean, just trying to use the software that 7 days, and I think because they put out a tutorial on using a banner, to use their banner but put your information on it and blah 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 and all these things, I just couldn't get it done, no matter what I tried to use in order to make it happen. And I had created banners that were copy pasted, but at least it was with what I could use. And so by going to the software program that they suggested in their tutorial, there are just a lot of things that my computer wasn't going to do. My computer wasn't going to just screenshot one shot and save it so that I could use it to upload. My computer wasn't going to do that. My computer doesn't do a lot of things, right? It's a laptop and it has very limited stuff on it because a lot of it's applications. And then what happened was that when I went to their tutorial, this is just kind of one of the things, but it kept getting hacked. So I'd sign in with Facebook. I'd get on there to use it to try to create the banner in the form that they want. And it just wouldn't work out. And then somebody took over the cursor. I had to shut the whole computer down. I had to reboot. I had to clean it. And then I had to get back in there again and then try it again. And somebody took over, the whole operation again with my cursor. So, I decided that there's just no way that I can get the banner done the way that they want the banner done. And so, anyway, and then there was just some correspondence and, stuff that I kind of talked about at the beginning, where people take certain things as, ways that they should not participate, or some kind of information that, maybe it's not the right time for me to participate at this time. And it's always interesting how some of these people take some of this stuff spiritually. But when you have to, keep in there and you have to keep participating and fighting against the system, otherwise you're going to lose power every time something happens where, oh, maybe I should, not do it because it just seems insurmountable. It's like, well, that's a great spiritual approach. Why don't you just check out for the next 6 months and, work on that? But anyway, valuable lesson. One of the things I'm constantly telling people is to not lend their power, surrender your power, not give your power away, not, feed things energetically. And I made a mistake. I was feeding energy into a collective thing called 7 days rest. And I was, faced with not being able to get over some hurdles to participate, fully, and wasn't really given the help. And it was just like a lesson on my end that if I can't get the baseline created, and I'm giving a whole bunch of free energy and power away, not including feeding it collectively, but also adding into it, I'm producing a product for it that is getting more people to come in collectively to educate them or whatever else for free, and there's no actual real exchange, then, I'm losing a lot in my energy field, which could take years to regenerate. And so, I have to sit back and think about, back to the lesson, don't feed anything, don't feed anything energetically, because, your health is determined on, how long that you can keep, energy in your energy body. And if you keep giving it away all the time and you're not getting it back in any way, shape, or form, and the big lesson is just not being supported. So for me, that's the big lesson, is just not actually having the support for it. And then it being kind of spiritually thrown back on me as, maybe it's not, right timing, or since there's interference, maybe you shouldn't do it, or whatever else. So I just have decided that I'm going to take down whatever I have in social media for it. I'm withdrawing attending and participation, just because of the experience that I'm having with it, and also my bigger picture lesson of, keeping my own energy in my field and not, giving a lot of energy away that, number one, I'm not going to get back. And number two, that, I just shouldn't really probably be participating in collective stuff anyway. I just have this reoccurring lesson that happens over and over again. And at some point I'm going to learn it, that whatever I can do on my own is going to be bigger and more powerful than shared or networking or participating collectively. And yeah. And, my vision probably isn't really going to, line up with 7 days of rest long-term vision either. So that's probably, where I need to exit. So the signs are for me not to participate and exit rapidly, so that I'm not feeding their collective. So, and I'm not saying they're good, bad, or indifferent. You guys know me. I'm just saying that this is kind of, what my position is, and these are the things that I'm thinking about, and decisions that I'm making. And the thing is, if I'm not real with you, then how are you going to change? If I'm not real with people out there in my social media, then how and this is the other thing too, is like, I just really think that feeding anything collectively is just going to be dangerous, because the other thing too is that a lot of people they have ideas of what they think things should happen on the planet, but there's really no long-term intentional plan. And most of the people that are usually involved, I'm not saying this organization, but they can't hold energetic attention for very long. And that's what really has to be needed. And I think that, we don't really have the answers or the information completely. And so, yeah. So I'm just going to stay with my own work and my own ceremony and my own, walking my path, and stay with that and work with the things that I really want to work with. And, it's really interesting because, I was asked, today by my star family, when I was like telling them, I think I'm just going to back out and I'm not going to participate with the 7 days of rest. And so one of the things my star family said, well, I was telling him that I just don't want to participate on a collective scale anymore, because I don't really feel like I get beat up for it, and I don't want to be beat up for it, and I don't want to have to put myself out there or move things forward energetically for a group or a collective, and be, beat up on top of putting it together, doing all the social media, offering, whatever it is, the commerce side, the product that attracts people in, or whatever, the classes, webinars, and, all this other stuff. It takes a lot of time to put a lot of this stuff together. And then in the end to be beat up over it. So, that's what I told him I don't want. I don't want to be in the collective. I don't want to be helping the collective. And, that I think with dealing with that, it's kind of a game over for me. So they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I just want to work with dirt. I just want to, at this point in time, work with, the seeds, the plants, the air, the water, the trees, and doing large scale, cultural native land restoration and soil and food growing in a very, like conscious way, and not teaching others and not being responsible for others and not fixing anything collectively, and, just doing that, So that's kind of like what I told him, that, in this year, I really want my focus to be, is just, the soil and all the microbes and all the insects and all the seeds, and working one-on-one, with that, and not teaching anymore, and not being in the collective, and not doing ceremonial work, and, not a lot of that stuff anymore, to just completely 100% step out of the human thing, and get back to all the other beings, and stop trying to help the humans to get it, because I think I'm kind of done. I'm kind of really done working with humans, and so, yeah, because we really need to focus in on the earth anyway. I mean, nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter about anything else at this point in time. The only thing that matters is the soil and the air and the water. And the thing about it is that the insects and the birds and the seeds and all the animals, they really appreciate everything that is done for them and the benefit of them. And so, yeah. So anyway, going back to, stewarding whatever piece of soil that I can get my hands on, and getting out of, like before, when I was in politics and doing a lot of legislative work and citizen lobbying and all this other stuff, and pushing paperwork, and then working on humanitarian projects and pushing all that paperwork, and trying to get funding and all this other stuff, and working with people collectively for years and years and years, and trying to educate them and teach them and get them well, and all these other things, that's just the part of the world that doesn't matter, because why we're focusing in on all of that, insects are vanishing and birds are vanishing, and all of these things that to me matter. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want a Star Trek reality here on this world. And so it's just about that. So, yeah. So anyway, it looks like 2020 for me is going to be me and Mama Earth. And that's going to be like, the focus of all my, most of my time. I'm going to be hiking out in nature. I'm going to be collecting more seeds this year. I'm going to be planting more seeds in the environment. I'm going to be making medicines. I'm going to be communicating with all those beings a lot more. And yeah, still probably do YouTube videos, but they're not going to be geared towards humans that much anymore. Like, there'll be, beings and things that, I'm doing with the soil and the plants and all that. And then if beings want to listen or humans want to listen, great. And if they don't, that's fine too. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. But anyway, yep. So the great withdrawal, and it's kind of the line in the sand where, trying to work with the collective, and the same things happen over and over and over again, and the same statements and the same excuses and the same, all this other stuff where nothing really ever changes, where I could make a huge change and dent with the nature beings, because they don't have all of these complications and all these explanations and statements and all of these hurdles and all this other stuff. They don't have that. None of that exists in the co-creation that the Creator created for us, and that's where I really, I think, really want to be, because I'm really exhausted and tired of giving so much energy away and it not being reciprocated in any way, shape, or form. And in the end, I just feel really beat up, and I do get beat up. So anyway, it's kind of funny. I put the social media video up, and now I'm, withdrawing, but it is what it is. And you know what? It's life in real time. And I feel more honest about letting people know than not saying anything at all. So anyway, talk to y'all later. Thanks so much.